I have to admit, this is one of the most excited I've been about doing one of our product videos. When Jetboil asked us to review their Jetboil Genesis, I just couldn't wait. I've had a Jetboil Flash for the best part of 20 years, maybe more, pretty battered, still going really strong. But their big brother is something else. So just a quick recap and to reiterate what's going on here. Jetboil has been making personal cooking systems for years. So basically everything you need is inside here. This is the Flash and I've had it for a long time. So the stove's in there, you can put the gas in it and everything clips together, really organized. Now they make lots of different versions of something like this, like the Stash and the Sumo and all those sort of things, and they're all brilliant. However, what no one else in the industry seems to do is make a really good quality big double burner. And this is where the Genesis comes in. So let's get to the point. The Genesis is not fast and light backpacking or alpinism or anything like that. They call it a base camp stove. I actually think in reality this is car camping or just a huge group of you all eating together. However, lots of the traits we'll get from the Flash are sort of shown in the Genesis here. The whole point is it all folds up really neatly, lives inside its pans, and the quality is just amazing. I'm sure many of you have used double burner stoves before, and they're often been quite cheap and a bit flimsy. I was recently on a camping trip with a load of friends from school, and they had a cheaper burner, and everyone was saying, I want my bacon crispy. It was basically impossible because this thing was rubbish. However, the Genesis is an absolute beast. So probably the coolest thing is the way all of it packs together. It folds up, fits really neatly in a really cool little bag, and also you get all the pots with it, so everything is as efficient as it can be. So obviously we've got two burners, but it runs off one standard gas canister, and that's quite a neat trick as well. And the output of these things are amazing. So we've got 10,000 BTU or 3,000 kilowatts, whichever we want to do it. So that's really fast. I think you get a litre boiling in about 3 minutes. So even though you could put any pot or pan on this stove, I think it's really cool you get the right tools for the job with it. So you've got a 5-litre flux pan that's got that amazing rim at the bottom that keeps all the heat in and keeps it really stable on the stove so you can't knock it off. Also seems to keep the wind out quite well as well, so it works in bad conditions. And you also get a 10-inch frying pan as well. So you can see what's going on here. You're boiling your pasta and you're frying your other things in here. Simple. And every part of this system, you can just feel the quality. Nothing is cheap and flimsy. It's solid and built to last. Even the lid, the little fold out top on here and a strainer on it, good handles on the pot, good fold away handles on the frying pan as well. One of the things that really sets this stove apart from its competition as well is the fact that with these knobs here to control the temperature, you can actually adjust it in such a massive range. In fact, you've got to turn them quite a lot of times to get to hot or to get to a simmer. Now that can be a bit of a pain when you're spinning it around, but actually that gives you so much flexibility because older stoves generally, they're either too cold or you're burning everything. So you've got really good control with these. But also that does mean you can crank it right up if you're melting snow at a base camp or something like that. I also think what's brilliant is the piezo you've got with it. Instead of like a button, it's like a little lever, so it sort of works pretty much every time. Many other stoves don't even have those on, or if they do, they're likely to be flimsy and will break quite quickly. I really like the fact you get this fuel pipe with it as well that connects to a standard gas canisters. So many double burners out there run off those big, huge, chunky gas canisters, which sometimes are a bit of a pain or not easy to get hold of as well. You can pretty much get these things anywhere. Also, it just makes it a little bit lighter and more packable. I know it's not a packable thing, but those gas canisters are massive. And the likelihood as well, you already own some of these because you've got like a mini Jetboil. I've been cooking up some really nice food here in the woods today. I've really enjoyed using it. It's great to get the temperatures just right. And I think it's the sort of thing that people could own when you like going away in your van, because you may have a stove in your van, but it's really nice to get out and cook with it. And I can pretty much guarantee this will be more efficient than the stove in your van as well. Have you heard the old expression where when pasta's ready, it sticks to the wall? Maybe you haven't heard it. Do you think that'll work with a tree? It's not going to stick, is it? That's a bouncy looking tree. It's ready. And while it may not be light at 4 kilograms, it is pretty compact and easy to carry. So obviously, I'm not saying you're going to take it into the wilderness, but you could actually take it a little way to your setup. Neatly folded away in the bag is also this windshield you get with it that clips on and goes around the stoves here. I'll be honest, I think this is probably the only negative of the whole setup because it just feels out of keeping. Everything's solid metal, really robust. This is a little bit flimsy. It does work, but if I'm honest, I think 90% of the time you'll be fine. You're not on the high mountains while you're using this. And I do get why they've done it like this. It needed to be able to fold up and fit in the bag. So you can use it if you want. I'm probably not going to bother. I love the fact that the Genesis has a regulator inbuilt to it as well. Now what that means is it regulates the gas output from your gas canister, because as you probably know, when you get to the bottom of a gas canister or it gets cold and the pressure changes in there, sometimes stoves can start to splutter or slow and it'd be a struggle. So a regulator keeps it pumping really well until it runs out. You also get the handy Jetboil fuel stabilizer, which is really useful when the ground's not that level, so that you can keep the gas canister from falling over. However, it seems we've already misplaced the one for this sample. And even though I've mentioned it's sort of best to use these pots and pans because they're designed to work with it, if you've got like a favourite griddle and you're doing steaks or something like that, you can just use it on here, because so many other setups, you're just stuck with the pots and pans they come with. The elephant in the room I want to address is obviously the price, because we're going to get comments down there saying, that's a lot of money, that's crazy. So, like I said, I've had this Jetboil flash for like 20 years now and it's still going strong. This is not a cheap setup. However, it's such good quality. I can't see how you're ever going to wear it out. It's probably going to see me out. The pots and the pans and everything are brilliant. Also, if you buy a pot like this on its own, it's expensive. You buy a pan like that on its own, it's expensive. Double burners are either cheap and rubbish, or they're good and they're expensive. It's quite obviously a really premium product with a premium price tag. Having seen multiple cheaper options being used and binned, I think this is really quite a sensible option. So while not obviously ultralight, why not have the best car camping or base camp setup you could possibly get?